Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. We are back in Dandy's world and we are back ranting about my useless opinions. So it's actually kind of funny because I've realized some of my videos are doing pretty good. Like one of them almost has 200 views on a long form video. And that is a lot considering I've only been on the YouTube space for about a week at most. So not a super long time, but like it's doing good. I'm doing good. And so I'm going to be going over my unpopular and popular opinions today, and I have 4 of each to go over. So I think we will get into that now. My first unpopular opinion is that YouTube content creation is easy. I think that it's easy to find a topic you want to talk about and a kind of thing to have in the background. For me personally, I play some kind of Roblox and then I just talk about what's on my mind. I think what is hard is actually getting the viewers to back up your channel and the subscribers to actually keep your channel moving. I think that it can be incredibly discouraging to actually try and formulate a following on YouTube, especially when doing a trend of some kind. I think that when you follow a trend, your video is just another one in the algorithm, but when you make something more original, it forces it to stand out against the crowd. And yeah, my second unpopular opinion is everyone needs a hobby. I know that some people would say that they don't have time for a hobby. I get it, but really you need something to fill like free time that isn't related to scrolling on YouTube or schoolwork if you're still in school. I think that oftentimes we get so wrapped up in our own lives that we forget that there's stuff that we could be doing that in a few years we could look back on and kind of say, hey, that was actually really fun and I'm glad I did it. I mean, even now, like after my pottery class and stuff, which guys, I promise I will show off my pottery. It's just right now, it's gonna be a short, and right now long form content is on the brain, especially because I filmed this last night. And you will also see a video in the future discussing my beliefs with Bloxburg and my beefs with Bloxburg as well, and that one's gonna be a good one. I have a very large idea in place. I probably will not post it till tomorrow, but I think after this I will get my footage. I'll get my footage of what I honestly think about this update that came out today. And yeah, so my third unpopular opinion, which I'm blazing through these, I apologize. I know there's 14 minutes left on the video, which I'm sure I will take longer on my popular opinions because those ones I love to rant about. But my next topic is hearing things through the grapevine. It's not necessarily gossip if it's not about someone, but it's also not necessarily gossip if the thing you are talking about is not negative. Because there are things, I feel like, where I work, you're not always told everything, so you have to hear things through the grapevine, quote unquote, to actually get information across. You have to hear it from a coworker, or you hear it straight from your boss, but not always. And sometimes you have to tell other people the thing that your boss told you. And it can be fun to listen to some work tea, but you also got to take it with a grain of salt because there was a lot of confusion a while ago about something that happened in my workplace, and I will leave it at that. I don't want to, spread stuff that does not need to be out there. And I think that it can be hard sometimes to draw the line between actual gossip and hearing things through the grapevine, if you will. conversations, a lot of conversations for me end up just being talking about random subjects, but I do have some coworkers that like to talk tea. And I am one of those people that loves to talk tea, but we can't linger on it too long, and I can't, like, actively be spreading rumors. That's a thing I will never be doing. Like, we should not encourage that, especially, like, regardless of where that may be. I mean, whether it be at school, church, or your job, or even the YouTube space, because there were a lot of rumors going around when Megan Plays, like the whole Megan Plays situation was going on. There were a lot of rumors about that, and yeah, it just doesn't deserve, like, a negative connotation. Like, more specifically, hearing things through the grapevine. Again, like, I don't want you to take it as I support gossip, because I'm very about it. Don't linger on, like, hearing something too long, but also don't spread misinformation, you know? And that kind of leads me to my fourth unpopular opinion, which is different, and it is a little bit off topic. Some animes don't deserve the hype they get. I know. And it is an interesting fact, because it's okay to like what you like, but for me personally, I do not feel that One Piece is actually deserving of the stuff that it gets. Or, what's the other one? Boruto? I mean, I know that Naruto is good because my brother watched it, and I watched it with him a few times, but, like, I heard that a lot of people had mixed opinions on Boruto simply because it did not feel like the original show, but also it felt like a cheap imitation of the original show. A lot of the characters had been watered down from what I have heard, and more not really themselves, like in the original show. And quote unquote, it's because they grew up, but I don't think that's what it actually was. I think it was that, when I think it was Netflix that made the show, like, when they made it, they probably didn't watch the anime and was just like, you know what, now that we own the copyright to that, or some of the copyright to that, let's just slap a new label on a trashy show using all the same characters and their kids. And I just personally find that some animes aren't that great. From the ones I've watched, I do like them, but I'm into the more bizarre animes. Like, I've heard people talk about them. Like, it was actually hilarious because there was a smaller content creator a while ago talking about the Wonder Egg Priority, which is a smaller anime. I love that show. Like, it is so bizarre and it feels like a fever dream, but I absolutely love it for no reason. I will say, another one I've watched is Sunny Boy, or Sony Boy, depending on how you pronounce it. It was an interesting show. It does leave you with some heavy, like, mental dread after finishing the show. I'm not gonna spoil too much about it, but it's like, oof. Like, it ends well, but it also makes you kind of question your place in the universe. And, like, if you're into that type of, like, anime where it's like, whoa, is this real? Am I real? You know, that kind of thing. I would definitely recommend it. And who knows? You might not feel that way, but I remember watching it last year and this year and getting pretty much the same reaction. And it was a kind of overwhelmingly bizarre reaction. And so I think this leads me to our next topics, my popular opinions, because we can't have unpopular opinions without having popular opinions, and it would be easier to do this in a long form video than like putting two separate parts that may or may not get the same amount of views. And who knows, if this video does well, like maybe more than 50 views, I might do a part 2 in like a week or two. But my number one popular opinion, and honestly, this should be yours as well, please, 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 people should shower. And I know that there's probably going to be someone out there that disagrees and says, no, that's my answer is no. There should be no, well, actually, I don't think that because XYZ. No, No, I'm sorry, but as your body odor builds up, it smells so bad that it like makes people around you want to gag, because the smell builds up over time and just does not smell well. Speaking from personal experience of having people be around me, and actually at one of our local Comic-Cons, they had to enforce rules specifically designed for people that do not shower. Like, showering is a requirement, or you can get kicked out of the convention for not showering, because, you know, and there is a negative ideology behind people who watch anime or like comics or like video games, and like, it is a small minority that actually participate in like not showering. Thank goodness for that. I would personally like really not want to be around someone who does not shower, because for me, I have somewhat of a photographic memory. And because I have a semi-photographic memory, sometimes an actual full photographic memory, my mind tends to wander into spaces, and it causes me to be sensitive to smells as well, because I can imagine, like, if I've smelt something, I can imagine what it smells like, and it kind of loops in my head until I start gagging and almost throw up. Like, if it smells bad or if it smells good. Like, and I know that's probably really weird and probably not scientific in the slightest, but I do have it. And my next one is probably gonna be bad for my Marvel fans DC fans out there. Marvel is better than DC. It's a well-known fact, like, that it is better than DC, mainly because they generate more revenue, and it's rich coming from, like, a person who is in the age of Marvel and DC movies flopping, because the new Superman did horrible. No shocker there. What's the other thing? Oh, yeah, and a lot of the, new Marvel movies coming out are terrible. I'll be completely honest. The only reason I still hold on to Marvel is because of the X-Men. I personally find the X-Men, like, kind of, I don't know how to explain it, like, really entertaining in a way. And I have some of their comics, and that's probably going to be short as well, showing off my collection, because I have a collection of comics, but I also have a collection of literally everything, from glass bottles all the way to art I have created. I really would love to show it off, and if you guys are interested, like, you know, leave a green heart in the comments, or, like, comment, sure, I'd love to see your collections, because I have a lot, and a lot of mixed different things that kind of show my personality. And I've collected dishes, I've collected all kinds of fun stuff, books, you know, little, like, odds and ends that I absolutely love, like, but, you know, moving on here. Oh goodness, we do not have that much time left in the video, but I will speed through it. The job market isn't great right now. That is an opinion I have and stand by. I had to apply for 40 different places to even get my job. And I have seen videos of people talking about them having to apply to 100 different places for a job. And it's been really, really interesting to kind of see that. And, like, for a lot of people, like, I'm not going to say who, but I saw a live stream a while ago of a person talking about how YouTube was their main source of money, simply because they could not find a job. And I felt really bad, because, like, you know, and I don't, like, I make good money, but at the same time, I don't spend a ton of money, and I don't hoard it, but I don't necessarily spend money unless I absolutely plan on spending money. And that's kind of one of those things, is, like, I try my best to save and not spend. So I think everybody. Something else that has been on my mind is, right now, high-end fashion is kind of dumb. Let's be honest here. If you've seen the Met Gala, it was not great this year, to say the least. I think that a lot of people thought that they were doing something really inspiring, but in reality, the outfits I saw were not. I saw one of the Starry Night I really liked, and then I saw Heidi Klum's, and, you know, she is, like, literally the queen of Halloween, so, like, of course she's gonna pull up to the Met Gala looking like a work of art. And I think that something to that is, we often associate, like, high-end fashion as this beautiful, elegant kind of way of expressing yourself. But in reality, now, with so many styles all over the place, whether you're someone who enjoys the look of scene, decora, cottagecore, like, all these different things, I think that we've got to a point where we're realizing how stupid fashion actually is, in the sense that when it is done wrong, like a lot of designer brands are doing, it just doesn't feel that real, you know? It doesn't feel like it's great. And I know it would be so funny if I'm, like, some famous content creator in, like, I don't know, the next 10 years, and then, like, I get invited to the Met, and then Anna Wintour is like, oh yeah, I saw that video of you from 2026 of you downplaying fashion. She probably wouldn't, because she probably wouldn't know who I am. She'd probably just invite me so I could make content off of it, or, like, you know, which even then, there was a real debate a while ago about if influencers should be invited to the Met, because, you know, James Charles went, and then, like, he was never invited back. But to be fair, the drama that happened shortly afterwards, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and I think that, like, it's kind of stupid nowadays to look at these fashion brands and actually look at them with a straight face, because a lot of the stuff they're producing is trash that you could make at home. Literally, I mean, heck, you could probably go to your Aunt Susan's sewing machine and just say, hey, Aunt Susan, I'm gonna, you know, like, sew me a dress that looks like I found it out of the trash, and then she'd probably question you, like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, yeah, just don't use any of our actual trash bags to make it. And then you'll look back at her and she'll say, or you'll say to her, huh, okay, but how am I gonna look like a trash bag? Simple! Buy it off Vogue. Like, you know, that kind of thing. And I think that it's so, like, I saw what was it? Paris Fashion Week? Something like that. And these ladies looked like they were wearing vases. And I'm just sitting here and I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. Like, could you imagine someone showing up in the Met Gala? Or, like, even Paris Fashion Week in an outfit like that? I think that it's one thing when, like, because now I'm gonna segue into more of the same topic but a different topic. When The Devil Wears Prada came out, fashion still made sense somewhat. I think that, and not to say that the fashion industry doesn't still make sense in some parts, but I think that we just have this tendency to put all these brands on pedestals when in reality, when we actually start to question them, like, what are they doing? And that's one of those things, is like, when The Devil Wears Prada came out, it was supposed to show that fashion is a statement and that it pours out into your life even without you realizing it. And, you know, it was so mind-boggling kind of seeing that. And I don't know, I just feel like now I want to see the second movie, and I'll probably talk about the second movie after I've seen it. Probably not with footage of the second movie unless I want to pirate it, which I am not doing that. No thank you. But yeah, and I don't know, I think that's about all I have for that topic, or this video for that matter. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you want. You know, leave a comment down below if you'd like to see more videos like this. I love doing videos like this, and who knows, they might do well, or They might do well on my channel, they might not. But you know what? As long as one person likes it, that's all that matters. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys again soon. Goodbye.